In Shadowverse Worlds Beyond, there are 7 different classes to choose from, each with their own mechanics and playstyles. But which one is the right one for you? While I do recommend that you try all of them, it's only natural that you'll have a favorite based on how they look and how they play. So let's break it down. Forestcraft represents nature, so aesthetically you can expect woodland critters, feyfolk, and elves. They focus on comboing weaker cards together for a result that's greater than the sum of its parts. Take Killer Rhinoceros, for example. It gains power based on the amount of cards you play in a turn, referred to as your combo. So what you can do is use other cards to add cheap fairy tokens to your hand, and then save them up for a big explosive finish. It's a perfect class for players who prefer a more technical and tricky playstyle. Swordcraft represents mankind. Aesthetically, there's kingdoms, warriors, and princesses. They are the most straightforward class, focusing on deploying followers to the board and then buffing them up. Zirconia Iron Crown Ward is a perfect example of this, as she summons 2 knight tokens and then buffs up your other followers by +1/+1. If you're wanting to learn the basics or sharpen your fundamentals to the point of mastery, then this is the class for you. Runecraft represents magic, so aesthetically you can expect spellcasters, rituals, and familiars. As you might have guessed, Runecraft emphasizes more spell-based gameplay, contrasting with Swordcraft's more direct, follower-based gameplay. Take a look at Dimension Climb, which starts at 18 play points but gets reduced in cost by 1 every time you play a spell while it's in your hand. If you get this card down to 0 cost, suddenly it's a free way to get an entirely new hand and get all of your play points back. It's a perfect class for those who want to seize the reins of the game by themselves with a unique spell-slinging playstyle. Now, before I break down the other 4 classes, I would please ask you to consider subscribing. I have tons of amazing Shadowverse Worlds Beyond content coming up for you, and you don't want to miss it. Even if you think you're subscribed, because of YouTube shenanigans, you might not be, so I'd really appreciate it if you could double check. Dragoncraft represents growth. Aesthetically, they have, well, dragons, obviously. You can also expect dragon-human hybrids and anything that's big and goes stomp. They have cards that accelerate the pace at which you gain maximum play points, like Dragon Sign, for example. And that lets them play bigger threats faster, like Genesis Dragon Reborn. Then, they overwhelm their opponents with sheer power. If you like the idea of building up your resources so that you can eventually slam down a gigantic monster, well, this is the class for you. Abysscraft represents death. Aesthetically, they have ghosts, demons, and anything else that goes bump in the night. They use their own health and cemetery as a resource to pay the cost of their cards. Check out Reaper's Death Slash, for example. It only costs 1 play point and lets you destroy any enemy follower, but it requires you to destroy one of your own followers in turn. Then, by building up shadows by destroying your own cards, you can spend them with necromancy to activate powerful effects, like Devious Lesser Mummy, who gains Storm by consuming 4 shadows. There's also Graveyard Recursion, like Ghost Juggler, that can reanimate one of your 4 cost or lower followers that was destroyed during this match. Their playstyle is perfect for those willing to use anything at their disposal as a tool to win. Havencraft represents zealotry, for good or for bad. Aesthetically, expect healers, cultists, and gods. They're known to control the game with healing and removal to keep themselves alive until they can turn the tides with a big play. Salefa, Guardian of Water, is a great example of this. She restores defense to your leader, has ward, and can deal AoE damage to the enemy board when she evolves. Going alongside that, they also have countdown amulets, which are amulets that destroy themselves after a certain number of turns has elapsed, and often have an effect that procs when they finally do. Like Serene Sanctuary here that draws 2 cards when the countdown is over. Once you're in the clear and made it to the late game, you can drop a big card like Jean Saintly Knight to make a big swing on the board. For players who want complete control, both over the pace of the game and the state of the field, play Havencraft. Finally, Portalcraft represents Enigma. They're the hardest to define, both aesthetically and mechanically, but you can expect them to harness the power of the unknown. They have dolls, robots, and also eldritch horrors. When determining what a Portalcraft card is, it's you know it when you see it kind of situation. Playstyle-wise, they generate a lot of different tokens that let you interact with the game state in various ways to gain the upper hand. You can generate a puppet with Lovestruck Puppeteer, an enhanced puppet with Medical Grade Assassin, or you can do whatever this is.
Only ransom I take is blood. Follow me. Order under the breach.
All paths lead to extinction. The Great Purge.
This is new.
If you're a player that likes having a billion different options of how to play out each turn and trying to find the optimal line amidst all that chaos, then this is the class for you. So, which class catches your eye the most? Let me know in the comments down below, but again, I do highly recommend that you try out each and every one. If you enjoyed this video, then you're sure to enjoy this one where I explain all the basics of Shadowverse Worlds Beyond.